Hello, everyone. Um, I want to do kind of like a personal review on that Helena and Elena deck that I did or got a while back from CNJ Cards or Games or whatever. I'll have to look up their store. But I haven't had a chance to sit down and play Commander with any of my friends or anything for a little bit. However, so I was looking on eBay at other shops that sell randomized decks, and one of them ended up doing one of those automated discounts. So I got it. This is from David's Cyber Shop. And it seems like this is like one of the only Magic the Gathering products on the shop. There's like a bunch of other things, but I figure I'd take a look at it. This one's description was less coherent. It almost felt a little bit like a little bit of buzzword scam, not or scam spam, not entirely, but just there were some things in it that was like that's not a complete sentence. Anyway, I did the dumb. I got one again, keeping packaging face down so that names are covered up. I'm gonna open it up, take a look at what we got, find out if this is as impressive as the other one. I'm sure someone's gonna be like, "That wasn't very impressive," but I honestly thought it was put together pretty good. I can't wait to sit down and play with it. But I would also like to see what we got here. So, there's also a cat in the room with me today, so if the phone gets bumped or someone starts walking in the way, well, I can say hi to her. Wonder if that's our commander. Krenko 10th Street Kingpin. Might be. So we might have gotten mono red. Funny enough, I was sitting here like worrying about getting the same color combination, getting red green again. Partially because I know red green in general, because it's mostly a very aggro strategy, isn't the most popular. So there'd be a lot of red green commanders out there that are probably just gathering dust. Good God, they taped this down good. I didn't think about monocolored. There's so many monocolored commanders. Okay, I'm gonna take this from behind the phone so I could try and open it with a little less like reach going on here. There are a lot of monocolored commanders out there, and I just didn't think on that. I was honestly sitting here like, oh, what would like white blue be like? Because there's like that new Kangi and all those other things. Um, let's see. We'll find out if this is it built to be goblins or like a swarm? Is it +1/+1 counters based? Or is it just like a pile of bulk? Because like I said, the description was really concerning in some ways. Like, man, this tape. I gotta go off screen to find scissors, but I hate that I end up leaving pauses in a lot of things in the first place. I don't want to leave anything just because it's like, all right, I had to go out of the room and look for a pair of scissors. All right. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, it might be goblins because we've got Krenko, who's right there in the face of it. We've got Squee the Immortal, Squee Goblin Nabob, Palashak Mons, Krark the Thumbless. Holy crap! I think it is goblins, but that is just before we get too far into things. So he was on the outside. I'm assuming he's supposed to be. There's like no note in her or anything. It's not like the other one where there was like a little rundown. I'm assuming he's supposed to be our face. Like, these two are just notoriously hard to get rid of, which if there's any other good like sacrifice fodder, and I mean there is, But then, like, there's Mons, and Mons is a really good commander too. And then Krark, if we've got any decent, like, coin flip things going on in here, which I don't know. He might have just been thrown in because he's just another legendary goblin. We'll find out. But, like, that's already a pretty cool spread. And I don't have a goblin commander deck, so, like, it is a pleasant surprise. Alright, so we got Anger of the Gods, Goblin Raise Runners, Legion War Boss, Goblin Chain Whirler, Brash Taunter, Dark Dweller Oracle, Goblin Gavalier. Okay, we'll find out if we can use that ability or if he's just in here because extras. Diplomats, Foil Aki Avalanchers, Goblin Arsonist, Goblin Bushwhacker. I remember when this guy was a decent... I noticed that it's like... My phone's having issues with the... there we go. This guy was pretty decent in his time. Bloodmark Mentor, Goblin Ringleader, Reckless Bushwhacker, Goblin War Chief, Skirk Prospector, Faithless Looting, losing our focus again because the thing doesn't know what it wants to focus on. A Vision's copy of Fire Blast. Come on, phone. You tapped me while you were looking at Kranko. Searing Blood, Smash to Smithereens, Kranko's Command, Goblin Bombard. Alright, my phone is just having a hard time, isn't it? Oh, it's because it keeps focusing on that. We'll just put the piles back there then. This is going to be one of the... not... Okay, I had to start re-recording because my thumb hit the stop button. Goblin Bombardment, Skullcrack, Empty the Warrens, Dragon Fodder, Temur Battle Rage, which was also in the other one, Pyroclasm, Conflagrate, Faithless Salvaging, Inferno, interesting, Seething Song, Craterize, in foil, Dead and Gone, Play with Fire, Ren's Resolve, Invoke Calamity, cast up to 2 instant sorcery spells with the total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana costs. That's pretty cool. Molten Rain, Searing Blaze, a Foil Fling, Mana Barbs, Magma Quake, Faded Conflagration, Rowan Fearless Spark Mage, the Planeswalker deck, Rowan, Flames of the Firebrand, and Collective Defiance. Don't know for sure. Some of those look a little rough. I wonder if those are basic lands or what. But so I didn't see anything that had coin flipping, and I didn't see any equipment. So I think Krark and our Gavalier are kind of just thrown in because they are goblins. I think in comparison to the Helena and Elena deck, which seemed like it had a lot of thought put into it, this one's not bad. There's a very obvious goblin theme going on here, and that it's not terrible cards put together, but it's kind of all over the place, which I'm not opposed to. That's what I expected the other one to be when I ordered it, was to kind of be that way. And the fact that it came through as a very well thought out and coherent deck with like pretty decent amount of stuff in it. Like this one, it very much feels like it's someone's going through a bunch of bulk that they have either at their store, or I'm going through the mountains, by the way, or something. And all right then. Sorry, I paused because that's all mountains. Those are all mountains. But I got here. And that's Chandra, Torch of Defiance. I remember her being a pricey card, but this is also the one from the Chandra spellbook. So I don't know if that's a pricey card or not anymore. We have an old 4th or 5th, 1995, 4th edition Goblin King. Incinerate. Skull Clamp. So now we have an equipment. Mog Salvage. Mog Alarm. Goblins of the Flarg. Mountain Walk. If the you sacrifice them if an opponent, or if you control a dwarf. It has been a while since I've looked at a card from the dark. Sisay's Ring. Flame Wave. This was a favorite of mine back a while. Flame Rift. Goblin Matron. An old 4th edition Lightning Bolt. Goblin Digging Team. Goblin Kyurgen. And a Goblin Grenade. Off cut, but that was actually really common for Fallen Empires cards, so it's not like it's going to be worth a whole lot of money that it's off cut. I mean, so we have an equipment, but we still don't have anything for coin flipping, so I mean, I'd be willing to play this out of the box, the bag, the package, though. Did I count that up right? Are we more spells than we are? Was this literally just like I mean, a lot of them produce creature tokens. I don't know. Like, definitely a lot less coherent than the other one. I'll have to like take a look through it again on my own. Like, it's not terrible, but we'll have to, whenever I get a chance to play again, I'll probably try this one out after the Helena and Elena deck. I think I don't know. I'm a little here and there with this one. I'd almost want to say that after I've had a couple of chances to play with it and like mess around, see who's like better in the face since they gave me so many. Obviously Krark is the best, right? But I might use this as a basis and like try and get some other things on my own at another time to improve it into a little bit better of a goblin deck. Just kind of maybe taking out some of the excess like oldie goblins from the dark and Fallen Empires that might not fit so well, and maybe putting in some more actual goblin creatures, because they're the size difference of like, so get him a shot. There's our basic lands, and only basic lands that I saw anyway. There's our creatures. And here are our non-creature spells. Like, it's not a huge difference, but for a creature-based strategy, Like, I'm going to have to go through and see how many token producers there are. There's 2 planeswalkers, which is interesting. But I get the feeling that this is running a little light on creatures for the strategy that it's going for. But I'll see if I can put these 2 videos together and then come back to this at another time. Hope you guys have a good one. Okay, did a part 3 here because as I was going through it, I was watching the other parts before I was going to mash them together. I was sitting here, and I think my assessment that, like, it's a bunch of stuff someone got together, put together in a rough theme is probably right. The theme being Goblin Burn, very clearly. Though, like, I noticed that there's a lot of board wipe stuff in here, which could just very well be because that happened to be some of the cards that they had on hand. But I can honestly look at Krark the Thumbless as he's just a 2/2 for 2 with the legendary attached to it. Otherwise, he's a Goblin Wizard. Nothing else in here deals with coin flips. Goblin Gaveleneer and Skullclamp are a non-bow. he gets that boost and dies, and then I draw 2 cards. Unless I have Goblin King out, which the deck does have Goblin King. So I was kind of taking a look through it. Cards that produce Goblin tokens are Mag-Alarm, Krenko's Command, well, non-creature cards that produce tokens, because there are creatures, obviously, Krenko, Polishek, Empty the Warrens, Dragon Fodder, and then I have Goblin Grenade in this pile, because that's stuff that cares specifically about the creature type. Creatures that we have that care about it or produce them, Warboss, Bushwhacker was supposed to be in that one, sorry. Ringleader, Warchief, Prospector, King, Matron, and Kyurem. The rest of this is pretty aggro, but so while I was going through it, like, this is literally just Goblin Mountaineer, but cooler with a very specific illusion kind of sacrifice effect. But like, Brash Taunter, I was looking through this. Brash Taunter kind of becomes like a linchpin for, like, almost like a mass, like, kill everyone kind of effect. So we have the Chain Whirler, which can hit him. We get to our spells. I don't think this was planned out this way, but it turns out pretty good. Anger of the Gods. Pyroclasm, Conflagrate if you wanted to. I mean, a few of those other burn spells. Inferno, Flame Wave if you feel like hitting yourself, but it also can, hit opponents. There was a couple more in here. Magma Quake. She's actually really good when I was looking at her ultimate, by the way. Collective Defiance. Chandra, with how many instants and sorceries are in here, she cares a lot here. It's very much mono red burn with goblins as like the major creature base, which isn't bad. It just, so upon my like watching the other 2 parts, like I got excited and then I got confused and I almost sounded disappointed, which I guess in a way I was when I hit the fact that, like, we only had the one equipment and like it sunk in after the fact that Goblin Gaveleneer can't even like work with it unless you have that Goblin King in play. But there's nothing to do with Krark, and you'd think that would be the least of my worries. That like the deck is a little all over the place. You'd think and I have Goblin Digging Team off to the side because like it's specifically Kill a Wall Like, that is about as specific, aside from the Flargs, when it comes to things. And that was kind of how Fallen Empires in the Dark were. A lot of things, honestly. But it's also a Ron Spencer piece, so, like, it kind of gets by being, done by one of my favorite artists. Anyway, so, like, there's a lot of creature aggro here, a lot of creature tokens and stuff, but, like, the main boost of the whole thing is the spell power in it, which isn't a bad thing, and it's kind of cool. But I kind of wanted to come back to it after I looked over that and be like, hey, as disappointed as I sounded, I wasn't completely disappointed. And like I want to look up kind of how much some of the things are in here on the secondary market. I'm not looking to sell. Like, that, I very rarely get myself to the point where I want to do that, but, like, just looking at some of them, and it's like, I remember some of these cards being kind of pricey when they were in standard or at varying points of their time in other formats. So I'm kind of curious to see, like, if this was someone's bulk, like, what did I get out of it that might not be so bulky in cost? I'm really curious about that Chandra. Like, where did I put her? There she is. Like, yeah, it's the spellbook version, but I remember that being a pretty decent card, and I think it's still used a lot in Pioneer? Is that Pioneer format. I kept on, like, struggling on if it's still Pioneer or what have you. And it's because I remember when Frontier was making the rounds. And also Skull Clamp, I think it's only a couple of bucks, but still, like, that doesn't feel like bulk to me, especially with it being a Darksteel copy. Like, that was the card that broke standard at the time, But, yeah, I just wanted to top that off. I'm going to put all these parts together, like I said at the end of the last part. So, we will see how this runs in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep the whole thing together and just call the other little things like little pets in the deck, having some cards that have some incredibly specific effects and whatnot. Don't worry, Kirk. You could still be used as a goblin grenade.